When I was a kid, Comedy Central always felt like the forbidden grown-up channel I wasn't supposed to see. First launching on November 15, 1989, it was created to be the first ever TV network to be dedicated to comedy programming 24/7. This ranged anywhere from full stand-up shows, this is how I found out about Jeff Dunham, take that for what you will, original sitcoms and programs like The Daily Show and Mind of Mencia, again, they weren't all hits, and eventually, the topic of today's video, cartoons.
Holy dude.
Before there was Adult Swim, we had Comedy Central making cartoons and animated shows aimed at adults. I definitely remember flipping through the channels and occasionally seeing a cartoon, but never fully sticking around like I did with Adult Swim or MTV. So I'm curious, were the Comedy Central cartoons really that bad or unmemorable? Or was my little kid brain too small to fully appreciate the art of Lil Bush? We're gonna talk about them all, so I hope you can handle all the funny surely coming our way as we explore the bizarre world of Comedy Central cartoons. Is there a more perfectly 90s show to start with? Dr. Katz, Professional Therapist.
I remember the first time I had sex. Because I kept the receipt.
The show was created by Jonathan Katz and Tom Snyder, with the former being a comedian and the titular Dr. Katz himself. Dr. Katz is a very well-mannered and meaning man. He's a therapist who just wants to help his clients. His clients are usually played by other fellow comedians.
So then I turn the wipers on, and it goes right over him. And then it dawned on me, he's in the car! It's just like that horrible, we've traced the spider, he's coming from the inside!
Now, what made this show unique and often more organically funny was the fact that most of the show was improv.
No, but even in the world of the paranormal, which I live in and you don't, there are mistakes made.
The official term is retro scripting, in which the comedians and voice actors are given a vague outline to try and follow, but the rest is completely improvised, giving the dialogue a sense of realism with awkward pauses, genuine laughs, and reactions to a good joke or one-liner.
The salad that you had 8 hours ago, that wasn't good? I'm just saying, I didn't think it was so great. But now that you've opened the doors of communication, you know what? I didn't think my childhood was so great.
The therapy sessions would usually always have a comedian as the client, and would use this time to tell a funny story or bit, usually to promote their comedy. It of course felt natural and never like it was a commercial or anything.
I have spider phobia. Is that common?
Not unusual.
Yeah.
It's kind of a revolutionary concept if you think about it. You're essentially watching animated recreations of stand-up bits and stories.
Racism is different from region to region. Like, have you ever been to the South?
Well, years ago.
Doc, the racism down there is just... mwah.
Yeah, I know this. It's unfortunately, Dave, it's not just the South.
People are still doing that to this day with their favorite Let's Play moments. In between the therapy session, Dr. Katz of course has other people in his life he'll interact with. His son Ben, his uninterested and kinda useless secretary Julia, all with as much enthusiasm and heart you could imagine.
What I am sorry about is making fun of your purchase.
It's not the making fun of it so much as the mangling of it.
One of the show's producers was Lauren Bouchard, the creator of Bob's Burgers, and you could tell that guy really loves this style of weird characters just having nothing conversations with each other. If you really like that aspect of Bob's Burgers, then I think this show might be right up your alley.
And the other day they invited me over to this dinner party that they were having. So about 10 minutes after I got to the party, I pretended to have a stroke. Yeah.
Dr. Katz, Professional Therapist ran from 1995 to 2002, with a total of 6 seasons and 81 episodes. That's insane to me, because at first glance this doesn't exactly look like a show that would have that much longevity, but everyone involved clearly loved the show. Now, despite the show coming to an end in 2002, in 2007, Comedy Central presented a live-action special with all the comedians reprising their roles. It was super charming seeing all of them return and slip into their regular roles like a glove.
Ben, you don't inherit a psychiatric practice.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
No,
You own it. I'm your son.
I know,
You're going to
but-
leave it to me, I hope.
But we're not done yet. In 2015, the show returned to the San Francisco Sketch Fest, and in 2018, there was an audiobook released for the entire show's run that included brand new content. As I mentioned earlier, it's clear everyone had a blast working on this project and genuinely loved everything about it. Heck, my dad just a few weeks ago pulled this up on YouTube and was rewatching it. Funny people telling interesting stories and then getting it animated. Man, how's Comedy Central gonna top this? Oh, well that'll do it. South Park follows four... Wait, I don't need to explain this.
How would you like to suck my balls, Mr. Garrison?
Man, South Park is a really special show. It's like the only cartoon that's never gotten old throughout its life, in my opinion.
You might as well go buy some cigarettes too, because I like to have a smoke after I get good and fucked.
Simpsons, Family Guy, SpongeBob, they all have their fans that say, yep, the episodes got bad around season whatever. But with South Park, some would argue that it's only gotten better with age.
I have anxiety! That means I'm in my shell and have a hard time expressing myself!
South Park's longevity comes down to a lot of factors. One is definitely the quick turnaround. With the animation being paper cutouts and fairly simple, Matt, Trey, and the entire South Park team can crank out episodes over the span of a weekend seemingly, which allows the show to stay topical and relevant. Since its inception, South Park has covered literally every social topic and world event that has ever happened. Whether it be a massive topic like the war, presidential elections, and foreign affairs, to menial topics like celebrity gossip and YouTube. Man, that episode that had all the old YouTube classics showing up to collect their internet money for going viral was probably the first real episode of South Park I was able to relate to and understand.
Nothing takes priority over chocolate rain.
The comedy is also... well, I'm not too sure how to describe it. It's definitely mom won't like me watching this, fairly shocking and edgy stuff, but nothing I feel like that goes over the line.
Oh, hey, that's not very nice, Mayor. Just because a person is gay doesn't mean he's a fag.
Okay, well, sometimes. South Park's longevity is understandable, but a part of me also wonders just how they were able to get away with so much. No joke, I was in a hotel a few days ago, and South Park was on TV, and it was around 11 a.m., and they played that Jeopardy episode. You know, the one where Randy just drops the hard R, and it wasn't censored. Like, it blew my mind that they chose to air that episode that early in the day, and it was uncensored. South Park has naturally seen its massive share of controversies. I mean, it literally has its own dedicated Wikipedia page, it's insane. But it's always been in favor with the viewers, and that's what matters. Mainly because no matter the topic or content that was covered, one thing was always certain and remained consistent. The show was funny.
Called me a whore and pushed me in front of a car.
Heidi, I was in a bad mood!
That's all people have ever wanted with a cartoon like this. To laugh at things, whether it be serious, silly, and everything in between.
You're gonna let a girl put her mouth on your wiener? Do you know how disgusting that is? Girls' mouths are full of germs! Yeah, dude, that's gross.
South Park may be the only show to have a run as long as it does and have more good episodes than bad.
Token, how many times do we have to go through this? You're black, you can play bass. God damn it.
Honestly, this is like Comedy Central's SpongeBob. It's like the only thing it really has going for it. Now, hey, I can praise South Park all day, but for the sake of this video's time, let's move on and see what else Comedy Central has in store for us.
How do I reach these kids?
Now you'll have to forgive me, for I was not a cool green leaf smoking teenager in the 90s, therefore, I did not grow up with Clerks and absolutely worship this property like some other people do.
Hey, the holy fucking Bible, son.
That being said, upon rewatching the animated series, I really liked it. At least what little there was of the show. Clerks the animated series only had 6 episodes. We follow Jay and Silent Bob, 2 slacker stoners just chilling and getting into shenanigans.
Me and Silent Bob would just like to announce that we'll now be officially hanging out in front of these stores again. Officially.
I'm not sure why only 6 episodes were made. The cartoon was made in 2002, so maybe it was a bit too late for people to really care. It's like making a Napoleon Dynamite cartoon in 2012. Wait, Kevin Smith, the show's creator and actor of Silent Bob, said that the intent was to make a quick cancellation of the series a running gag. I mean, hey, whatever makes you happy.
Sue us for falling down in the store?
Maybe.
Oh yeah? How much you gonna sue us for? $10 million?
Maybe.
I don't have much else to really say. A weird 6-episode series that had all the original actors return, but for some reason, the world just wasn't ready for it, I guess. Man, this sucks. Kid Notorious. We follow Robert Evans. Yes, the Robert Evans himself. Famous film producer Robert Evans, who the world was dying to see have his own TV show in 2004.
Yeah, sweet and sour, baby. Plus, I can say you take my breath away in 67 languages.
So we follow the Robert Evans himself getting into silly situations that are so wacky and hilarious, you can't help but laugh at every turn.
Your mom's tried to deep throat my chocolate bologna, but she couldn't cause I'm hung like Sonny Corleone.
This is the most nothing TV show. This reeks of low effort, unfunny, we need to fill the time slot cartoon ever. You could tell the show was meant for your dad or something because it starred Slash from Guns N' Roses. Heck yeah, this show rocks.
Word on the street is your show's in the crapper.
Kid Notorious ran for 9 episodes, and in my opinion, that's 9 episodes too many. Shorties watching shorties.
Slavery was a tragedy and atrocious and all that. One cool thing though, a lot of good tunes came out of it.
What we have here is pretty much the same concept as Dr. Katz, taking comedian stand-up routines and animating them.
You work at Staples? Just like one day, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna kill my wife.
Again, it's not a bad concept. However, the show built around these animated stand-up bits is where they lose me. The main show follows Baby Nick and Baby Patrice, played by Nick DiPaolo and Patrice O'Neal respectfully. They are babies who have silly banter.
Hey, you know what? I think I'm gonna redo my crib. I'm gonna get a jacuzzi, a wet bar, solid gold mobile. You know, that plays Old MacDonald.
Ugh, Old MacDonald, that's just lame.
It's honestly, just bad. Shorties Watching Shorties also had a very short lifespan, running from April to December 2004, with a total of 13 episodes.
I always loved art teachers, because they were so bizarre, right? They were like the homeless people of the faculty.
Again, it's such a simple formula for a show. Half the work is already done for you. Just get rid of the stupid babies. Alright, here's another classic from back in the day. Drawn Together.
I love racism!
I remember this show was always on when I was a kid. As a kid, I was always so fascinated with its cast of characters. You got this mid-2000s DC superhero, a SpongeBob knockoff, a black and white Betty Boop, every Western depiction of a Pokemon, a Disney princess, a spoof of a pretty boy JRPG protagonist. It was like the Avengers for bootleg rip-off cartoon characters. Drawn Together was a parody of reality TV, where all of these iconic cartoon characters would all live under one roof and get into shenanigans. If I'm being honest, it was kind of mid.
Dude, I love the vagina.
Dude, I love the vagina. What do you like to do to the vagina?
What do you think I like to do to the vagina?
Now listen, I grew up watching the show on TV, but I think I like Drawn Together conceptually more than I do in its actual execution. Like, the idea of different cartoon characters of different genres and different generations living together does have the potential to be funny, but here...
I want chocolate milk! I want chocolate milk!
What the heck?
The comedy always just boils down to, hey guys.
Boobies.
And I'm not saying that I'm above that humor or anything. I have a super immature sense of humor. But the problem is that that's the only joke they do in the show. The characters say and do things that, uh-oh, your mom wouldn't like you watching this. They say bad or shocking things, and that's it.
Silly black people. They always think they can accomplish everything by just sitting around.
Like, the cutesy, innocent Betty Boop girl is a foul-mouthed alcoholic. The pretty boy JRPG protagonist is gay.
Oh my god! 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 Oh my god!
I don't know. I mean, I guess if you liked this show when you were a teenager, then mission accomplished. The show did its job. It feels like a Robot Chicken sketch that could work for a 3-minute segment, but as a full cartoon with recurring episodes and characters, for me, it got old pretty fast. Alright, here's another Comedy Central success story. Freak Show.
The half-old man, half-young man. Hey, Grandpa, try to keep up. Why, you disrespectful little...
This all-time classic ran for 7 episodes between October and November 2006. That's gotta be a new record. 1 month. So in this show, we follow a bunch of quote-unquote freaks that have been recruited by the government to solve mysteries and fight crime. What makes them all freaks? Well, they look different and are handicapped. Ew, freaks! This show breaks the cardinal sin of a comedy cartoon by not being funny.
How about for a cup of your American spit?
That seems fair.
that seems good.
Hell, I had to scour to the deepest depths of the internet just to find some episodes. You cannot find a single clip of this show on YouTube. And if I have to scour outside of YouTube, you know you come across some cursed garbage. The show was created by and voiced by H. John Benjamin and David Cross. Or Bob's Burgers and the bad guy from Alvin and the Chipmunks movie, if it makes it easier. Freak Show just moves at a snail's pace and the jokes don't land at all. A pretty forgettable and nothing cartoon. Aw man, we're finally here! I actually remember seeing Comedy Central promote the hell out of this. Lil Bush.
Gosh dang it. You kids know you're not supposed to watch anything but Fox News.
Oh, sorry, Pop.
It's a show about the former United States President George Bush and other members of the cabinet as children.
Looks like Pop raised taxes again. Cost you an arm and a leg.
Actually, it's a war injury, but that's a good one.
Man, after that one tragedy, George Bush was pretty much the laughingstock of the entire world. Everyone was making fun of this man. And in 2007 to 2008, as one final ha-ha at the president before he wrapped up his second term, Comedy Central gave us this.
Are you against the troops?
No, I'm for the troops.
How can you be for the troops and against the war?
It's like, he's kind of entertaining, I guess, but it doesn't cross any new territory. It's George Bush being stupid, talking with his funny voice. It's literally been done a million times in every TV show ever.
Oh, George, are you trying to hurt your brother?
No, I'm trying to kill him.
But maybe it's because I personally was a little kid during Bush's presidency. It's still kind of funny to this day.
Overseas? I don't want to go overseas. Everyone you meet overseas is un-American.
Literally, that guy was making comments not too far off from this, and he was the president. Political cartoons are usually not funny, but George W. was like the one president it worked for, simply because he had the funny voice and you could write him to be a lovable idiot. Kinda like how he was in real life, even though he did do that one thing.
And it reminds me of that tragedy.
Again, the show airing as late as it did kinda baffles me. Like, I think George W. jokes were already ran its course by 2007, and again, it ran until 2008 and even introduced little Barack Obama. But hey, I'll give the show credit. It's so far one of the few Comedy Central cartoons to not have a handful of episodes before being canceled. It ran for 2 seasons and 17 episodes.
Every year I get my dad a different belt buckle. The welts on my back are like a walk down memory lane.
Lil Bush is definitely niche. If you didn't grow up in America or paid attention to George W. himself, then this can definitely feel tacky. The show received a fairly negative reception overall until it just came crumbling down. Man, that reminds me of that tragedy. Now, when I went to the Wikipedia page of Comedy Central shows, I was a bit confused to see Futurama, and it's actually a pretty interesting story that I didn't know until working on this video. So Futurama, if you don't know, follows a human named Philip J. Fry, a regular guy from the 90s who accidentally got frozen and unthaws 1,000 years later in the future in the year 2999.
I'm so embarrassed. I wish everybody else was dead.
It's a classic, fun and silly characters, memorable episodes. Again, I don't think I need to explain Futurama. Futurama's initial run lasted until 2003 before being cancelled. However, in 2009, Comedy Central bought the rights to Futurama for syndication, which I guess means they could air the episodes on their network. However, that same year, they also bought the rights to Futurama to create new seasons and new episodes that lasted until 2013.
Now pick a mouth, open it, and say... What? My mother was a saint! Get out!
That's pretty cool. And honestly, I had no idea. I was always curious as to why Comedy Central was showing Futurama all the time back in the day. I personally can't speak for the quality of the show during the Comedy Central ownership. I don't know if the episodes were better or worse, since to me, all Futurama episodes are fine.
What time is it? Time for you to shut up!
But yeah, I don't have much else to add. This video isn't the time for a big Futurama retrospective. But I still feel like I had to mention it. Mainly because we've had so much garbage in a row that it's nice to watch an actual cartoon. Alright, this is Ugly Americans. God bless the USA.
I really like you, but I kind of only date zombies, so...
So we follow this social worker named Mark. He's your average wage slave, milquetoast man who lives in New York. But wait! This New York is inhabited by demons, monsters, creatures, and other miscellaneous fantasy beings.
Hey, buddy! Suck my ball!
If I'm being honest, the show didn't really do much for me. I don't think it was particularly funny or even interesting with its concept and characters, but I don't dislike it by any means.
Now you know how it feels to be chewed up and spit out by the system, man.
The main commentary revolves around Mark. He's politically incorrect when trying to adapt to the lives of these monsters. What's offensive in their culture isn't offensive in ours, so sometimes there's a good joke or moment.
And we have an unbaptized baby arm soup.
I'm going with the breadsticks.
Those are also baby arms.
Ugly Americans came out in 2010, which was kind of a dark period for adult cartoons across the board. The start of a lot of unfunny garbage coming out. And the next show on this list is kind of the king of unfunny adult cartoons, in my opinion. Brickleberry, starring everyone's favorite funny man, Daniel Tosh.
I use it for August, 9/11 minus 1, 8.
Whoa, okay, do we have any hilarious Brickleberry clips to show instead?
Don't say anything about the amputee kid. Don't say anything about the amputee kid. It's good to be here speaking to the Nub Scouts.
I guess not. This show sucks. Plain and simple as that. It is the prime example of everything wrong with unfunny and uninspired adult cartoons. Where do we start? Visually, it looks like a crappy Go Animate YouTube video, because Brickleberry is 98% static default poses, with the very rare body movement, like blinking or a hand movement. Yeah, you want to stare at this for 20 minutes straight? Does this even count as a cartoon?
Good thing I'll never tell a soul. Wait a minute. Am I thinking this or saying this?
But okay, maybe you can look past the lack of animation in this animated show. What matters are the jokes, right? Okay. Is the show funny?
You shouldn't be playing with sticks. You could put your eye out.
No. It's aggressively unfunny and, dare I say, cringe.
Because you love weed. Look at your shirt.
Oh, that's right.
There's two types of jokes in this show. You either have the topical pop culture reference that will age like milk 2 days later after the show airs, or there's the downright unfunny, crude toilet humor.
Now I will take away something you love.
Nothing about this show is good. I have zero compliments to give it. It is completely uninspired and lazy. The creators of this show just looked at other successful adult cartoons and just took their concepts without realizing what made them funny. It's like, oh, Family Guy and South Park say offensive things? We can just have our characters say offensive things too. And there's literally a talking animal character because all of Seth MacFarlane's shows have one. It's so obvious and shameless.
No, I love animals. Some people say I love animals too much. You know what I'm saying?
And of course Brickleberry had 3 seasons and 36 episodes. I don't know anybody who liked this show. Sure, there's the occasional YouTube comment where some psychopath says something like, "Oh my gosh, Brickleberry was the best thing ever." But I don't believe those people have souls. Just to make me all the more angry, one of the show's creators was quoted with saying, "If you're clever and don't just try to shock for shock's sake, you can make most anything funny." It's not even grammatically correct. Anticipating concerns that the show would be too similar to Family Guy, the show's writing imposed a rule of fewer pop culture references in order to differentiate the two. Yeah, that'll do it. It's a totally different and unique show now. I hate this. I unapologetically hate this show. And what's worse is that this was the catalyst for future adult cartoons, done in this exact style. I don't know why. Every adult show in the 2010s was inspired by Brickleberry. Brickleberry took the comedy out of Comedy Central. In Space Security. But you get it? If you say the show's name quickly, it sounds like Insecurity. Please laugh.
That was wasn't AA, that was Dungeons and Dragons.
What did I just get done saying? It's lazily animated and grossly unfunny.
Wouldn't that be a fun, wacky time? All of us building bears?
That's it. Another lazy piece of trash. It would be more interesting to watch a banana rot. Trip tank. They weren't lying. This tank do be trippin'. As the name of the show implies, it's just a reel of insane trippy visuals and scenarios. That's it, really. The show feels like something that should be on Adult Swim, so I guess this was Comedy Central's attempt at that feeling of Adult Swim. You know, the what the hell are we watching kind of thing. So I'll give the show props for its creativity. Every episode has a different style and isn't afraid to be absolute nonsense. They commit to that bit. You serious? Okay, this is Biatches. It's an absolutely hideous cartoon, but hideous in an intentional way that it is pretty charming.
Big tits go boom, boom, boom.
And by charming, I mean what? This is once again another crude and ugly show that is trying way too hard to be edgy and weird. Comedy Central have fallen off so hard. We literally peaked at the beginning. The downfall was so fast and hard. And it's not just this show, it's everything adult comedy animated in the 2010s, and Comedy Central seemed to be the hub for garbage. And you know what's worse? We still have so much more to go. In 2015, Comedy Central would give us Pixel Heads.
An amazing story if it were true, which it's not.
What do you mean?
I have a different story.
Yes, you're saying this correctly. Comedy Central has resorted to Let's Plays.
What's that?
We follow a bunch of random miscellaneous gamers in a party chat, playing games and having epic banter.
How do you have 3 seconds?
Can we get anyone else? I'm sorry to not be chill.
Oh, wow.
It's all, of course, incredibly unfunny and cringe, mainly because it's a scripted show with scripted jokes. Let's Plays are obviously funniest when the comedy comes natural. Heck, even Conan knew that with his little Let's Play segment on his show. The format, the comedy, it's all the same old tired jokes we've heard for years. The best thing about the show is that you actually get to see some real-life gaming on your TV.
Lightning, is that you?
No.
Oh.
Apart from that, it's unfunny and ugly garbage. Am I being too harsh? I hope so. Alright, here's Moonbeam City.
How long is this going to last?
As long as heartless crooks have snakes for hearts.
No, this.
I paid for 48 hours.
The best way I can describe this show is that it's colorful Miami Archer. Literally, it's the same concept and style. It's a parody of an 80s police drama. Our main character, Dazzle Novak, is a wisecracking, lady-kissing smartass.
Get us out of these cuffs.
Care to do the honors?
Hold still.
I do have to admit, it's visually stunning. It perfectly captures that 80s Miami vibrant color scheme. Guy who's ever only played Vice City be like, damn, big Vice City vibes from this. That's it, honestly. It lasted 1 season with 10 episodes. Not a big loss in the grand scheme of things, but it is very pretty. For whatever that's worth. How is this actually real? So this is The Lounge. It is easily the laziest, ugliest, unfunniest piece of trash I've ever probably had the displeasure of watching in the history of this channel.
Man, chill out, coach. You just being dramatic. You fine?
It's gotta be a joke, and even if it is intentionally bad, like a weird Adult Swim experimental thing, you gotta still be funny and have charm.
Yeah! Oh, goddamn bitch!
The audio quality is poor, the line delivery is half-assed and everyone is mumbling, and the animation is somehow weaker than Go Animate. It has no Wikipedia page, no fan wiki, and 0 uploads on YouTube. You have to go to the Comedy Central website if you really want to watch this gem of a show. Luckily, they're only a minute long and there's only like 5 episodes available on the website. I believe these are online exclusives, but even then, why waste yours and everyone else's time making this trash?
Mo, it's Coach and Keith and we're hot. Can we please come over?
Nah, y'all wouldn't like it over here. It's freezing.
Here's Modern Geek Show.
Well, what's the deal with that little mustache of yours? You're not an illegal, are you, Tony?
This is somehow even worse. It feels like an AI-generated Newgrounds cartoon. Just lazy garbage parodies with jokes that anybody could write. Seriously, here's some examples. There's a fat Captain America named Captain America. And then when they meet up with more Avengers, they run into the Hulk. But it's Hulk Hogan.
When I run wild on you, brother.
Then there's a Donald Trump parody where it's a horror movie and it's called The Real American Horror Story. Like seriously, if you worked on this show in any way, you have no talent. Give up now, it's not too late. Legends of Chamberlain Heights is a show about 3 teenagers who are all annoying and they gotta deal with other annoying kids.
I guess you got the touch. You should try touching these. Nuts.
Boy, please.
I mean, I don't really like this show, but it moves at such a breakneck pace. Lines and jokes are delivered at such an insane speed that you really don't have time to register what the characters are saying or what's even going on plot-wise.
Yo, I'm Jamal, and this is my boy Milk. We from Chamberlain Heights. I like your
You don't know me. You and my shoes.
But because of that, sometimes a character will say something kinda funny when you least expect it.
Yeah, come on, Coach Bundy. Help some Black Lives Matter.
Milk, you white! God helped you out, mother.
Visually, it is hideous, but I've accepted that at this point. It's not for me, but compared to the last few shows, it's at least somewhat tolerable.
If I can't wear my jersey to school, I'ma go white boy and shoot this up.
Jeff and Some Aliens were apparently sketches from Trip Tank, so Comedy Central took that one concept and made it its own show.
I got it! What if he killed one of his fellow humans as an act of goodwill? What?
It kinda sucks. I don't know if you're surprised. We follow our Earthling Jeff. He's a loser who has a lot of problems. He befriends some aliens and they try to help him with their alien devices and methods, while also learning about human life.
No, stop. Shut up.
Honestly, it's just bootleg Rick and Morty. You could watch that instead if you want your alien and human comedy series. Jeff and Some Aliens' biggest downfall is that it unfortunately relies more on crude, unfunny humor rather than its concept. So because of that, it's just another uninspired, throwaway piece of garbage.
So, where were you, Grandma?
I was in hell.
Alright, this is Vinny and the Colonel.
Make sure you go front to back. I have a date tonight.
I hate that you don't have arms.
I can't take it anymore. How many more of these do we have to go through? It's another ugly looking cartoon with crude humor. At this point, it's very obvious Comedy Central desperately wants that Adult Swim market.
Hey, we found a thumb.
Yeah, it's up my ass.
Dude, why is it up your ass?
I hid it from the cops when they were processing me.
But it takes more than just being an ugly cartoon that's LOL so random XD. Squidbillies is an objectively ugly show, but there's charm and actual humor there. And hey, I like garbage visuals. These crudely drawn fish superimposed on a real life background is fun. But the jokes are all copy and paste, recycled, stale, crude humor.
This machine gauges your answers and fucks you in the ass should you fucking answer like a fuckboy, you fucks.
I'm honestly astonished with how bad these shows have consistently been. And the Dookie train keeps on a-chuggin' with Town Hall.
Yeah, I can't get my router to work.
Did you try turning it off, then turning it back on again?
Oh yeah, I turned it on real good.
It's a show about a weird town full of weird people getting together to discuss their town's rules and whatever.
When he she gonna and stars
30th verse, same as the first. Unfunny, ugly, uninspired. Everyone, meet your new favorite cute animal cartoon character, Lofi.
We got Purple Kush. We got OG Mendo Breath. That's a sativa.
He's a fat manatee that smokes and deals drugs. You see the comedy now? It's a cute character who does vulgar things.
Boo.
To be fair, Lofi isn't as lazy or low effort as the other shows we've talked about, but it's still pretty lazy and low effort.
I'll talk to Scrooge.
You know what, then?
You seem
you gotta
stoned.
Talk to because
These characters don't have any real character. They're just talking heads to deliver jokes about drugs and doing the dirty. Like, Meatwad is fun because he's cute and also an idiot who occasionally gets a little crude, so it's funny when he does it.
Maybe I should get a steak knife and etch it in your mother forehead. How hard can it be?
Lofi is cute in design, but when it comes to his personality, character, or anything else, there's nothing. He just talks like a guy and makes bad jokes. You could replace Lofi with a random 34-year-old man, and that's every character in this show, so there's nothing for us to get attached to unless you really find the comedy funny.
Oh yeah, drug dealing manatee played by Bobby Moynihan. I love it. I think it's real fun, silly.
Which, if I may be so bold to assume, you won't. What in the goddamn is this?
Hi, son.
Hi, Regina.
Oh, this must be your dad. Nice to meet you, son, Dad. I'm Regina.
So, I don't really know if this counts as a cartoon, but it was listed under animated shows in the wiki, so I guess we gotta talk about it. Blark and Son was released in 2021. We follow a father and son who are a bit different, but try to connect, and shenanigans, it ensues. You know, I really wouldn't say this show is good at all, but it does get points for creativity. These puppets are some of the ugliest things I've ever seen. They look too realistic.
Last time we went camping, you purposefully left food out to attract bears.
How else am I gonna break in my bear saddle?
The show's up on YouTube if you want to check it out for yourself. Again, it's not good by any means, in my opinion, but puppetry in the year 2021 is a rare sight, so I gotta love it for that.
Before I go, just want to let you know that you're the best damn pilot I've ever flown with. You are my everything.
Well, the mediocrity was bound to return sooner rather than later. Fairview.
The woke mob has informed the university chancellor and I via Josh Gad's Twitter feed about the cancellation of Baby Let's Rock.
I mean, Jesus Christ, do I really need to say anything? What we have here is an epically, hilariously political satire produced by Stephen Colbert.
I can do whatever I want and they can't cancel me because my talent has eclipsed my transgression.
It's not funny. It's the same stilted comedy. And if you're getting sick of me repeating myself, imagine how I feel having to watch these shows over and over.
Honestly, I've been begging so many vagrants to satisfy my disembowelment kink that the whole Sammy Sugar experience slipped my mind.
How do you make something this bad? I feel like anybody could have made a better cartoon than whatever Comedy Central was puking out for the past 15 years. Like, Lil Bush is starting to look like an absolute masterpiece compared to this.
I'm not gonna help your stupid virtue signaling.
Have I even mentioned the visuals yet? They're all Russian nesting dolls for some reason. And the reason is that so the animators can be lazy and not animate legs. Fairview ran from February to March 2022. A return to the 1-month run. Congratulations! You are a failure. And let it be known, my garbage YouTube channel has run for 10 years. So if you get outdone by me, maybe it's time to rethink your life. Just the name of this show makes my ass itch. Tuning out the news.
The president went on to promise free college, free childcare, and low-priced healthcare, showing his age by forgetting what country he's the president of.
It's another epic political cartoon where comedians act as news reporters and tell really funny jokes about whatever.
President Dimwit, Abominable Don Ubble impeached for high kafifis and misdemeanors because they were stupid.
A big thing is doing interviews with people who are insane. I assume they trick the person being interviewed, having them think that it'll be a serious discussion, but when they show up, the comedians, of course, just dunk on them the entire time. My big question is, why does this need to be a cartoon? They never take advantage of it, or anything. The characters don't do any silly screen visual gags that a human couldn't do. Because of that, whenever the cartoon characters are on screen, like at an event interviewing regular people, you lose that visual charisma that a host should have. Whether it be them reacting by making a stunned face or staring at the camera like Jim from The Office, those are the things that make an interview fun. But here, when the stilted Go Animate characters just stare lifelessly into the void and not react physically to this insane person, you lose all the comedy. There is no reason for this to be a cartoon. I am genuinely shocked that this exists. Why was it greenlit? Oh, because it was made by Stephen Colbert and the other guy who made Fairview, RJ Fried. I hate to break it to you, Mr. Fried, you don't have that dog in you. These are awful, unfunny shows. Maybe try mopping the floors, you'd probably be better at that. But hey, maybe I'm being too harsh. RJ Fry did make another show. It wasn't on Comedy Central, but let's quickly check it out anyway. Our Cartoon President.
Excuse me, but what has Joe Biden done in 47 years? In just 47 months, I've made this country completely unrecognizable.
Yeah, here's a free joke for your next hilarious show, Mr. Fried Chicken. The annoying orange. When I was a kid, he sure looked a lot different. And the final Comedy Central animated show, at least at the time of recording this, was released in 2023 and is still going on today. Digman.
They say that just one sip from it can heal any ailment.
So if someone in the class found it, would we get extra credit?
This isn't bad. Heck, I'd go as far as to say it's good.
But he did say the latitude was 22 degrees, 46 minutes, 54.8 seconds south. Does that help?
No, that doesn't. Oh, no, wait, it does!
It's essentially just bootleg Indiana Jones. We followed a washed-up eccentric archaeologist going on adventures with his students. It doesn't sound too great on paper, but in its execution, they do a good job. It's got that early Rick and Morty feeling to it. An older, experienced person who's a bit of a liability going on adventures with a young, meek person. I'm not sure if it's because we've seen nothing but garbage on here for so long, but I do genuinely think this show has a lot of charm.
Wait, that was a reference to how you betrayed me. Saltine, punch this guy in the nuts.
What?
Forget it, you blinked. It's over.
Sorry.
The character is silly, but he has a character. I also really like the animation. It's super simple, but doesn't feel lazy. The colors and lighting are all dynamic in every scene, and the movements are fluid when they need to be. Seriously, you have no idea how happy I am to find a show that's decent. Heck, if I'm being honest, I don't know if I would have loved the show as much as I do if I didn't have to sit through all the garbage to get here.
If anyone needs me, I'll be in my secret chamber.
You mean you're going into your private bathroom for your morning dump?
But with that, we've reached the end of our Comedy Central journey. And honestly, there wasn't a lot of comedy to be found. More pain and suffering than anything else. I'm so shocked with how early we peaked with good shows. Dr. Katz and South Park came out back to back and were pretty much like the only good things I enjoyed watching. Sure, there were my guilty pleasures like Lil Bush, but as a whole, I'm shocked that the TV network that has the gall to call itself Comedy Central lacked any self-awareness with the garbage they were putting out. If it weren't for South Park alone, I think Comedy Central wouldn't have lasted as long as it has. I think Comedy Central is tied with Fox in terms of output of the worst cartoons known to man. Maybe I'll have to give those a look sometime in the near future. For now though, I hope you were able to find some joy in this video. Let me know your thoughts down below and what Comedy Central cartoons you liked. And until next time, please laugh.